Hi, I'm Carrie B. Thorne. I'm the museum curator at Independence National Historical Park, the National Park Service in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I'm here today on the second floor of Independence Hall, and I'd like to talk to you about a special project that we're doing in cooperation with the Independence Historical Trust. That project is to replace the window hangings in all 4 rooms of Independence Hall on both the first and second floors. So that means the first floor assembly room, where the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution were signed, and 3 rooms on the second floor, the Long Gallery, where I'm seated right now, plus 2 other rooms along the side of that building. The project includes handmade, hand-woven, hand-produced window treatments that are here and very important aspect to restoring this significant building, actually the most important historic building in the United States. When Independence Hall was built in the 1730s, it was the biggest building in colonial North America, and it retained that reputation through most of the 18th century. That and its centralized location in Pennsylvania is one of the reasons why the Continental Congress and then the Constitutional Convention met here during and immediately after the American Revolution. The building is in the colonial Georgian style, which was an academic style utilized in Britain, Europe, and colonial America. And it makes quite a statement in terms of elegance, understated but still elegant, as well as a very powerful expression of order. And that's a very significant aspect to Independence Hall's longevity, is that it has always been a symbol of importance, of elegance, and of power. And when we restore a historic structure, and the Park Service's restoration of Independence Hall took about 20 years from the late 1950s to the early 1970s, we're always concerned with as much historic fabric and as much historic evidence as we can preserve, because that's the evidence that we need to truly interpret accurately. And when it came to the interiors of Independence Hall, the restoration by the National Park Service was governed by a lot of complex analysis, because Independence Hall had been changed so many times from its original state in the colonial era to the mid-20th century when the Park Service was working. And because of those alterations, changes, additions, the interiors that you see now are recreated by the National Park Service based on a small amount of surviving historic fabric, but a lot of documentation, particularly style books from the 18th century, architectural style books as well as interior style books. And it's those kind of interior style books where we get our information for the window treatments that are in Independence Hall today and which our project hopes to replace. The window treatments are fabric shades that draw up and down in 2 different styles. There are balloon shades, which are shades that when you draw them up, they puff along the bottom, and Roman shades, which are shades that when you draw them up, they fold into an orderly, flat surface. And the reason those styles were chosen when we first did the project to create the fabric window shades that you see now in the late 1990s, we chose those style shades because they're fairly common in large public buildings. They're also common in domestic buildings of the colonial period. And we wanted to make sure that because we have to extrapolate as to what these shades look like, the originals don't survive, we don't have any evidence. We wanted to make sure that we were using the highest style, practical, and expected of a building as elegant as the Pennsylvania State House that we now call Independence Hall. So we chose Roman and balloon shade styles made of 2 different kinds of fabric, damask and heratine. Damask is a woolen fabric with a rococo design of scrolls and floral elements. Heratine is a combination of wool and linen that's been woven to a nubby texture. Then the window treatments have trims, fringes, tassels on the ends of the cords that are used to draw these shades up, and they're lined with white linen fabric, which is fairly typical of the colonial and late 18th century period. So the window treatments that you see today in Independence Hall are extrapolated by the National Park Service because we don't have direct evidence, but they're based entirely on the standards and parameters that were common in the colonial period when Independence Hall was built. Now, one of the important things about the shades, in addition to the elegance that they provide when you walk in and see the beautiful colors, red, blue, and green, the elegance that they provide is just one of the important functions of the window shades. A second really important function is that the shades do work. They can be raised and lowered, and we use them to help mitigate light. Natural light, sunlight, does contain harmful components that will deteriorate materials, and we want to be able to protect the antiques that we're exhibiting inside Independence Hall. So it's quite common for us to lower the shades whenever the rooms are not being used. And so that's another reason why we really value having window shades that are in excellent condition, is that they provide us with the ability to control somewhat the natural light that comes into the spaces and can cause deterioration. This particular project is just one in a long history of Independence Park's association with the Daughters of the American Revolution. In the 1970s, when the National Park Service was preparing Independence Hall for the bicentennial, the DAR was instrumental. The national DAR, and especially the Pennsylvania chapters, was instrumental in fundraising for furnishing the spaces on the second floor of Independence Hall. Since that time, over the last 40 years, the DAR has been involved in several projects to help restore objects in Independence Park's collection and acquire additional objects. And for that, we're so incredibly grateful for the willingness that the Daughters of the American Revolution have to support Independence Hall, and to the Independence Historical Trust for gathering together interested parties to help fund these projects, like the project of window shades. And we hope that you will be so interested in the project that you'll want to learn more about how the shades are being manufactured. We have a contractor who we'll be working with in New York State, who will acquire the thread that will be needed to weave the fabrics, the damask and the hairtine, and then we'll weave the fabrics, create the blinds, and then come and install them. And we hope to videotape some of that process so that we can share it with you as the project is ongoing. And then when the installation takes place, and our goal is to have the shades in the assembly room installed in 2026, of course, and we would love to have you all come and see that, be the first to see them installed, because we really couldn't do this without our partners, without our public, and we know that your interest in Independence Hall, because we have such a long relationship, is ongoing, and you're as excited about 2026 as we are here at the National Park Service. This project to replace the window shades in Independence Hall might seem small to many people, given some of the other projects that are happening for the semi-quincentennial in the United States. But believe me, without these window shades, the interiors of Independence Hall will not appear as elegant as they were originally intended to be, and we won't be interpreting the spaces without these shades to the best of our ability. Plus, it's just so gorgeous. Nothing like an expanse of damask to make you feel like you're in a special place. So I hope you'll be interested in the project and stay in touch with us. We'll give you regular reports about how it's going. And we're always open to questions about the process whenever you would like to ask them. So thank you so much for considering our project, and I look forward to working with you.